for the people who aren't here. So yeah, so if you decide to move out, things are not going to change much. The FICO score or credit score has been out for so many years. It's not going to go away in anytime soon. So the same idea applies to car loans. If your credit score is bad, then your APR will be high. And I was pretty generous on the 10 to 12%. I have seen people, in fact, one of my dad's friends, who, I don't know why he did that. It was kind of a dumb decision, but he decided to take out a loan for a car. I believe it was like $25,000, and he got it at an APR of like 20%. So the guy was going to pay somewhere upwards of $6,000 to make, to get the car, plus the 25. So he was going to end up paying about 30 something dollars. And it wasn't even a new car. It was a used car who ended up breaking, and he was having to pay so much money because his interest was so high. And of course, if you don't make payments, then you lose the car and you lose the money you've already sent. So it goes on to say that investing in a car, it has to be a decision that you make you think about that decision. You don't just say, oh, I'm gonna go get a car and get into debt. You don't just do that. And trust me, a lot of people do that. A lot of people feel like, oh, I need a car, okay, let me go to the dealership and get the latest brand, and let me get into a lot of debt, even though times are uncertain. So and then the same goes, if your credit is good, then your APR is lower. And this is kind of what I've seen for really good credits, is a 3 to 4, 5%. I even said 7% was okay. So for 6 years. Remember, unlike credit cards, where you can avoid paying interest, by paying the full balance, for cars, you cannot avoid interest. Interest is already charged on you. Now, for credit cards, if you don't pay the full amount, you owe monthly interest, right? Maybe $20, maybe $30, depending on how much you owe. You got to pay that, right? For cars, though, it's a lot more money. Obviously, the loan is bigger. So even if it's a low percentage, it's upwards of $1,000, right? It's money that's already added onto your debt. It's already calculated every single day. So a lot of people, when they get a car, and this is kind of how we calculate, and I'll go over this a bit, because last time I think I did it in a rushed way and it wasn't very clear. So I'm going to go very slowly for those of you who aren't sure what this whole thing is about, okay? So a car loan is usually given to you. You have 6 years to pay the bank back. That's what the 6 years mean, okay? So you go to the dealership, you grab a car, and they tell you, okay, we're going to let you borrow $30,000 and you have 6 years to pay us, okay? Now, of course, when you're going to purchase it, they don't just add whatever the car is worth. They also add the interest, for those years. So in this case, when we multiply for an 8% interest, we did 30,000 times 0.08, and that's how much money you would pay of interest in total. Now, this interest, it says that it's added on to the debt. So we add 30,000 plus 2,400. So instead of owing the bank $30,000, which was how much your car was worth, you actually owe them more because they let you borrow money. So it's not a really good idea to go get a car right after high school, right? I think everybody agrees on that. Now, you go with it, you say, fine, that's what I'm going to pay. And the way they calculate how much money you're going to pay is this. They divide the total amount of the debt by 6. Why by 6? Well, because that's the amount of years that you have to pay, right? And so they say if you pay us $5,400 a year, you'll be able to pay off the car in 6 years. And then because you're going to pay monthly, right? They divide that amount, the per year amount, by 12, which is how many months in the year, right? And so now you come up to be $450 per month. And this already includes interest. Now what happens, so you guys are not fooled when you are doing this in the future, is this. Let me not highlight it. So don't just pay attention, also take notes, because when you take notes, you add on into your short memory, the short memory part of your brain. So, okay. So what happens when, let me zoom it in for you guys. There, it's a little bigger. Okay, so the person already got their payment. They know they're gonna be paying $450, and this is kind of high because of the interest and yeah, because of the interest. So it's kind of a high payment, but the expensier your car, the more money you're gonna pay each month, and of course, it all depends on your credit. So this person obviously didn't have the best credit. Maybe they had, I don't know, 600 or even 620, no more than that. That's why they had such a high interest on the loan. Now, what happens with the loan is you're gonna pay $450 per month. Okay, out of that money, only a certain percentage goes to the main debt, which is those $30,000. And the main debt is called principal. It's your main debt. So when you pay each month, you make your nice little payment for $150. Only a little bit of that money, I want to say maybe about 300 go to the principal and the rest goes to paying the APR. Why? Because APR on the car is calculated daily. So not monthly, not yearly, it's daily. So that's why when you make your payment, think of it this way. You have 2 animals to feed, right? Sorry, I undid that. You have 2 animals to feed. One is called a principal, and the other one is called interest. Well, principal, that's your big dog, right? He's a lot bigger. He eats a lot more. Well, he eats a big chunk of what you're feeding, of the food, and interest gets another piece. What people don't understand is even though they are making their payments, not everything contributes to their main to the main debt or to the principal. Some of it contributes to the interest, and that's why they take so long to pay. So what should you do in this case? What is the best thing to do? It's the best piece of advice I got, so I'm going to give it to you. So I'll put that as a title. What should, somebody's coming in. There's Josh. Hi, Josh. We're just taking notes on our PowerPoint. So just follow along, okay? And we just started a couple minutes ago, so you're right on time. Okay, we're kind of late, but. Hi, Willie. We're just taking notes on our PowerPoint. So grab your notebook and start taking notes on your own, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. I think Jesus is not here.
Good morning, Miss Rosas. Sorry, I've been having
Hi.
internet connection issues.
All right, sure. Okay, so we're just taking notes. I think Jesus is not here. No, he's not here. Okay, well, he's absent. All right, so what should a person do? And I'm referring, what should a person do when they have this scenario, right? You have monthly payments and you kind of can't escape them, because if you stop making them, you're going to lose your car, and you're going to lose the money that you went, and your credit is going to be tarnished. So your credit score is going to go down because it's at the fault, like you didn't pay for it. Basically, you overstretch yourself, which is why a lot of dealers, if they don't see that you have an actual income, they will not let you get the car out, because they know you're not going to pay them. You're just going to go either wreck the car or use it and not pay for it. So they guard against that. They know better than giving it to a person who may not be able to pay back. Okay, so what should a person do? First of all, if possible, they should send more than $450. Okay. Remember, the person is paying $450 per month towards a debt of $32,000 over 6 years. So he or she is going to spend 6 years sending $450 a month for those 6 years. Now, what is the best way to avoid as least, or to avoid the amount of interest that you have to pay? Well, the only way to avoid interest, or a lot of interest, in the loan is if a person pays it faster. So if possible, they should send more than 450. If they can send 5, even 600 a month, this will help them shorten the amount of time they will pay for interest. Remember, APR on car loans is calculated daily. Already when you go into the dealership, they know that you're going to take 5 or 6 years to pay. So they already calculate the interest, right? But that interest only applies if you actually take the 6 years to pay. Okay? So if you don't take the 6 years, you don't have to pay that much interest, which is why, if you can, you should pay your car in less than those 6 years. How do you do that? Well, you do that by sending in more money. So, I don't know, you don't eat out that much and you send extra 50, extra 500, or extra 600. I don't know what you can do, but that's how you can sort of trick them in their own game, because you're not going to pay that much interest. You're still going to pay some interest, but not that much. So what I did in my case, so my loan was for 5 years, 5 to 6 years. And I got a really good interest. I think I was at 4% APR on my loan for my car. And so I was paying something about, I don't know, like $2 per day for interest. So it was charging me $2 a day for interest. And so per month, it was like something like $60. Per year, it was something like 1,000 something. So I was paying that much interest every single year, right? So at the end of the year, at the end of the 6th year, I was going to pay something about $6,000 just in interest, maybe $5,000 to $6,000. So what I did is I made it a goal that I was going to pay my car as fast as I could. Like, I didn't want to be paying interest to anyone. There's Jesus. And so what I did is, for the first year, I sent in, so my payment was of like $350 a month. I started paying like 400, 450, sometimes 500, sometimes 600. It was never 350. Maybe once, I think. I didn't have much money and I just sent in what I had to send in. Okay. So what I did was I paid it off, and then once this year hit, so 2020, I started sending in $2,000 every month. So $2,000 for January, $2,000 for February, $2,000 for March, April, May. In this month, May, I sent in a payment for, I think it was $8,400 that I had saved up, and I had gone from my tax return and whatnot. So I basically saw no money from my tax return. I didn't spend a penny on it from it because I sent all the money to pay off for the car. So I actually paid the car in 1 year and a half. Yeah, 1 year and 5 months, something like that. So that helped me save or avoid paying interest. So that's my point by telling you my story. So avoid paying interest for 6 years. Why? Because APR on a car is charged on a daily basis. And I'm not saying like it's like $10 a day. It's not. It's like $1 to $2 a day, but it's a day, including weekends, and that builds up over the years. So, imagine if it's, let's say it's $1, that's $365 a year that you're paying just for having the car, which it's not even part of the car that's worth, it's just for having it. Like, they're letting you borrow the car, you pay them $365. That's if the sorry, mom's upset at my brother. That's if the car pay, that's if the car, that's if the APR is charging every single day for $1. That's $365. But most of the times it's not $1. Most of the times it's higher than that. So you can avoid that. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Josh.
I actually saw an ad either yesterday or the other day for it was like a Lexus ad or an Infiniti ad, and it said 0 APR for 72 months.
Yeah, and those are amazing offers, but I don't know if you guys have ever seen those ads. Maybe I can pull up one here. But they have like really small like lettering. I don't know if you guys have seen those, like super, super tiny letters. And it says underneath, on approved credit. I don't know if you guys ever seen that, but so what that means, but what that means is if you have like a really good credit score, like, I don't know, upwards of 700, 750, all the way to 850, that's a really good credit score. That tells the dealership that you have money. You have money, like you have a good job, you have money, you have somewhere to pay them with, right? Now, how much is a Lexus? Do you guys know? Like a 2020?
New or used?
New.
Like, depends on what you're getting.
Probably like 40,000.
Yeah.
40 to 60.
There you go.
You know what you're getting.
And very good. So think of the offer. No APR or 0 APR, right? That means 0 interest for, what is it, 72 months? Yes? 72 months? I think that's what he said. Okay, 72 months. What's 72 months? That's like 12, 24, 36, 4. So that's about roughly 4 to 5 years, right? So that's a pretty good offer. But I think said on fine print, it says on approved credit. So if your credit is really good, you might be able to get such a nice offer. However, Once your 72 months are up, guess what they start charging? Interest. And you have a pretty good credit score. Your interest is not going to be that high, but the dealership is not going to lose their money. They're still going to get it. So it's a way to lure people in and say, a person thinks, oh, well, I got 72 months to, no interest. I'm just going to pay $40,000 for this car. I don't know how much a Lexus is, but let's say it's $40,000, right? And their payment is about $500 a month. Yeah, it's not that bad. It's doable. It's okay. But they're still going to take 6 years to pay. So they're still going to pay at least 1 or 2 years of interest, which is calculated every single day. So whatever the dealership is getting, they're getting you to buy a new car, which is already a bad investment. But, people love buying new cars. And 2, they're already going to trap you for 6 years. That's just how it is. Unless, of course, you purchase the car and you give the $40,000 right there and then, which might be nice to feel like doing that. But that's how it works. That's a really good way of luring people in. The expensier the cars, the more benefits you can probably get. So thank you. Has anybody else seen those? In fact, let me pull one of those advertisement. Okay, car advertising. See if we can find some. 2020. Okay, here's one. See if you can. Oh no, this is not. Okay, never mind. I want to see where they talk about the APR. Number 1, quality. No, they don't have that. Okay. Well, Audi is always. Okay, here's a good one. See what we can get. All right, so here's a Audi, right? This is 2020, the latest models, of course. Really nice. The picture is really nice. And then they have these nice things that says 0 maintenance for 5 years. And that means complimentary 2 plus 3 years extended warranty. That also has some asterisks in there, little star, exchange bonus up to 2. Oh, I think this is not from the US. Terms and conditions apply. Accessories and feature may not be. Blah, blah, blah. No. I think I'll find one. Here, let me do it. I can do APR. Ah, here it is. Okay, so here's the good ones. Okay. All right. Here it is. This one's a perfect one. So here's Toyota. I hope you guys can see it. You guys can all see it, right? Okay, so here's what the advertisement looks. And look, these cars are nice. Don't get me wrong. Look at this one. This one's really cute. Oh, that truck is nice.
Yes, the Tundra is beautiful.
Yes, it's so beautiful. So it's absolutely tempting, okay? Don't get me wrong. This is crazy. I would definitely want to get this one. Okay. Well, here's what Toyota says. Today, tomorrow, Toyota, 0% APR financing for 60 months. That's like 3 years. But, says here, with 1667 per 1,000 borrowed. Oh, okay. So that's something different. So this car, let's say you purchase this one, the Tundra, I'm going to say it's about upwards. I want to say it's $40,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's less than that.
No, it's not.
So, including Tacoma and Corolla, 90 days until first payment. Okay, that's not bad. Terms available on a, oh, see, here it is. I told you. Terms available, this is the fine print, on approved credit through participating dealers in Toyota Financial Services. Not all customers will qualify. What else? Oh, offer available on contracts up to 72 months and is available only through TFS to qualified buyers. So here it is, 72 months. That's, let's see, 72 divided by 12. Okay, yeah, so that's only, so this whole little offer of 0% APR for 3 years is only applicable if you purchase it on a contract that you're going to be paying payments. So let's say you wanted to, like, I don't know, purchase it for like right there and then, they don't have any of these things. Interest accrues from date of sale. These people are crazy. Oh my. So even though they're telling you there's going to be 0% APR financing, they are already saying that the interest is going to start from the day of sale. So kind of not true on what they're saying here. So yeah, you really got to be like smart about these people. Interest occurs, that means it's charged from the date of sale. Restrictions apply for approved tier and through tier 3 credit customers. I guess that's like the highest. Must be approved for financing through TFS and on any new Toyota or Toyota certified used vehicle. Offer excludes leases, and 25,000 miles is a little bit. Okay, so it looks really nice, but once you look at the little fine print, look at this one. Zero APR up to 84 months or no payments up to 6 months on select Ford. Wow, the offers out there are pretty nice. 0 APR for 84 months. Wow.
No, it's a Ford. It's not worth it.
I know, right? That's what I was told when my car broke down. What's your car? A Ford. Oh, no wonder.
Wow.
Or Nissan.
Right?
Wow.
Who said wow? You don't believe that's true?
Wow.
Coronavirus. Who's saying wow?
Look,
Why are you saying wow?
Words are good.
They're no good?
Because they're made in China.
Words
China.
are good.
You're so bad. What's wrong with those in China?
They're made in China.
Made in China? They don't work. Get 0% APR for 84 months on select 2019 models and no payments for 90 days. So yeah, they look all nice, but it's a trap, you guys. They're nice, but it's a trap. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Or 0 APR for 60 months plus 500 MCA cash. Yeah, these people do pretty much anything to sell you something. Because that's how they win their money. You know, they're not just selling the car. They're selling you everything else that goes with it, and it's full coverage insurance, etc. So okay, all right, so that's how you avoid paying interest. So if you do end up falling in a trap, I kind of fell on it, but just because I really needed it, but I got out of it as fast as I could. So please, I hope no one here, unless your great grandmother left you some crazy amount of money cash stashed somewhere under the bed, you should not be getting a new car anytime between your 18 and your 23rd 24th birthday. Don't fall into that. You know, a lot of people around you are going to say that's a really good idea, you can build your credit like that. Don't fall into that trap. The more debt you have, the harder it'll be for you to get out of that debt, especially because you're fresh, new. You know, you're like a canvas who's never written on. Your credit is brand new. Build it slowly but steadily. Get yourself a small little card, and don't make mistakes. I have a friend of mine, a friend of ours, of my family, who you know, he started his credit young. I think he was 18 when he graduated out of high school, and he started getting a lot of credit cards. And at some point, he lost his job and then couldn't make payments for his credit cards. So he maxed them out. Can't really use them anymore because they're maxed out. And then interest keeps charging every single month. And, he's sending like $60 a month, but his credit got ruined by a lot. And now he's looking to purchase a home or at least move out into a rented home. And he's having a really hard time. And he's only 24. So that goes on to say, if you are going to start your credit early or as soon as you're out of high school, it's a good decision. Don't get me wrong, but make informed decisions. Don't go crazy. Don't go out to every single store getting credit cards from them and purchasing all kinds of stuff that you can't really afford. If you don't have the money, if you don't have the cash for it, don't buy it. Simple as that. Because whatever you put into the credit card is money you owe to a bank, and the bank will not lose their money. They will hunt you down until they get their money back. So don't fall for those. If there's family members around you who kind of pressuring you to, oh, you deserve it, you work so hard, go get a car. I always tell you guys, I remember one of my seniors last year was so happy and so proud that he had gotten a car. He hadn't even graduated from high school yet, and he already had a car from a dealership. I don't know if it was used or new, but I was like, what were you thinking, boy? And there's no out of it. It's not like he's not gonna pay it anymore. He has to pay it. He has to make payments every month. And this is only his second year paying it. He's got 4 more years to go where he needs to make sure he's working. And I don't know if he's still in Julian, but if he was in Julian, most of the shops closed in Julian for like a month, right? Because I remember going like 2-3 weeks ago and everything was closed. So imagine that was a month or 2 months full of no wages, no income. So how are you going to make a $300 payment if you have no job? It's hard. You're going to fall behind. You're going to have to borrow money from somebody so you can make payments. So it's not the best idea to be young and get yourself into debt that early. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop talking about cars right now. Now, I want to start talking about paying for college. So, how to pay for college. And I know from the get-go, I know a lot of people have told you that it's not worth it. Well, in some ways it's not, but in some ways it is. So I just want to kind of grab some of you guys' ideas. I know you don't know much, but let me make this a little smaller. What are you guys', and I won't take notes on that. I just want to kind of have a small discussion because that's going to be your article of the week. So that's going to be your reading. It's how to pay for college. And it explains some of the stuff that I'm going to teach you. But first of all, what did I do? There. Okay. So let me stop sharing my screen so you guys can all see. Okay. What have you guys heard about what college is about, whether it's expensive or whether it's not worth it or not worth getting to so much debt? So just one opinions from you guys. What have you heard?
Depends. I've heard, and my opinion as well, that college isn't for everybody. It really does depend on what you want to do, in the long run.
Yes.
And that it is very expensive, but there is ways to get around the expense with loans, scholarships, and grants.
Very good. Yep, that's about right. Thank you, Ruby. Anybody else? What you heard, or maybe your own opinion about it? If you know anything. See, Seth says, go to college to get a good job, and it's very expensive. Okay, yeah.
And community college is also a great way to go for like your associates, and then to go to a university afterwards, so you get like the basics done and you're not spending more than needed.
Yes, very good. Awesome. Thank you. And I don't know if you guys know, but for those of you who live in Julian, there's something called the Palomar Promise. Do you guys know about it? Heard about it? Yes. Sable, can you let us know what it is really quick?
Of course, you call him the senior. The Palomar Promise is where they we did it this year. It's where they I totally forgot.
Sable.
I know what it is.
What is it, Josh?
It's where if you get like a 3.5 or above, you can go to Palomar College in Poway for free.
There you go. Yeah, so it's so it's the first year, if I'm not mistaken, the first or second year. For sure this first year is guaranteed free at Palomar. And by the way, California is moving into a place where they're willing to offer you community college for free if you have grades. So for all my freshman students here, you need to have grades to get all those benefits. Like good grades. Not the best, but good grades. Okay, any other notions or heard about what college is about? I know pretty much everybody has heard it's expensive, but any other opinions about it? Jump in. No? Okay, so I'll ask. Let me see. Let me go to Patrick. Patrick, what have you heard about college? Like, what is it about? Just your opinions on it. Patrick, there you go.
My opinions on college?
Uh-huh. Like, what do you think? Is it worth it? Maybe it's not for you, or is it for you?
It's worth it
Uh-huh.
if you have like the determination and like the patience. If you don't have those things, then it's not really worth it.
All right, awesome. So you kind of, based on who the person is, you should decide whether you want to go or not. Let me go to Caitlin. What do you think, Kate? What do you think about college? You can talk. You're unmuted now. I think your mic might not work. I can barely hear some noise. Okay, let me go to here. Okay, yeah, I don't think it works. All right, let me go to Benjamin Berry. Hi, Ben.
Hey.
Okay, what do you think? Just opinions about college? Are there any plans?
I think college is amazing and a great opportunity for people to get better jobs and have a better all-around life.
Okay, nice. Have you heard anything of the ways to pay for it that are not from your parents' pocket?
If you do good in high school, you can FAFSA.
Very good.
Yeah, that's about it.
Nice, thank you. Yes, so throughout our discussion, part of the finances, part of being financially stable, is paying for your education after high school. And Ruby was talking about an important idea. It is not for everybody. And what that means is you're not forced to go. It's something that it's entirely up to your decision to make. And of course, if your parents are going to be paying or helping you pay, it's also something that they're going to be discussing with you. But whichever way you go, there are a lot of opportunities that can help you pay. So hopefully the expense is not something that will stop you from going to school right after high school. And as pretty much everybody was talking about, the kind of opportunities that you get when you have an education are pretty much endless. Yes, it does have to do also with what major or what career you choose. So I have nothing against anthropologists, right? To kind of put an example, they're amazing. But the chances of you being hired as one are pretty slim. And so you have to be wise about which career you choose, and not guide yourself on like, oh, I like this or I don't really like that, because that's not a very good guide. Yes, you want to have a job that you enjoy, but you also want to have a job that pays for the bills. So kind of balancing those two is something that you're going to have to make, a decision you have to make in a few years, not much far from now. So what I'm going to do is, instead of starting that new, what I want you guys to do is to read, and I'm going to put it up here. So we're done for the day. Sorry, before I go into the homework, I wanted to show you guys, because I'm going to be grading this weekend, and I saw that a lot of people have not completed their common lists, and you got to get to it, because if you don't complete them, they're going to be zeros on your grade book. So if you have, then you kind of have to ignore my speech. But if you have not, there's only a few people who have actually completed their common lists. There are 2 now in our list. I'm sorry, click on the wrong class. It's my Spanish class. Okay, so there's 2 common lists. The first one only has half of the class done. So half of you did it. And I can tell you who did it. So the first one, I got Abby, Emily, Josh, Caitlin, Brayden, Seth. I can't see the rest of it. Hold on a second. Ruby, True, Anastasia, Lily, and there's somebody else I can't see. Okay. Well, you know who you are if you did it. And then the rest of you haven't done it. So, and that was like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So if you didn't do it, it's going to go into a 0. And these count a lot for your grade because they're part of your independent reading assignments. Then this one, Benjamin, Ruby, True, Anastasia, and Emily. Those were the 5 people who did it. Everybody else went MIA on me, didn't do it. That was assigned 7 days ago. Yep, it was due 7 days ago. So, needed to give you guys to make sure. And look, it's an 8th grade reading, which is not hard at all. Both readings were 8th grade. You need to make sure you're doing the readings in here. Okay, so I'm expecting those. I'm gonna grade those tomorrow evening. So I'm putting those in the grade book, and if you didn't do it, it's getting a 0, and that's that. So make sure that you're doing your work. Okay, so what you're doing today for homework, today you are gonna have homework. So you're going to read, and you're gonna add into your graphic organizer, which I saw a lot of you guys shared with me or submitted in some way. Thank you. Another article. Let me add the link to it. It's the one on NerdWallet again. And it's the one about, get it really quick. Credit cards, banking, investing, mortgages, loans. Oh, here it is. Okay. Because you're going to read this one. It's a small one that has like 8 things for you to read. It's almost like a blog post. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to read that and add your quotes. Remember, we are gathering quotes for our big project. Okay, so it's already there. It's called How to Pay for College, 8 Expert Approved Tips. And I'm gonna give you guys 25 points on that. It's due on Tuesday of next week. And it'll be due by 8 a.m. So do not forget. Like, a lot of you guys seem to forget that there's homework, but don't forget it. Like, get it done tomorrow, get it done tonight. The sooner, the better. And it's under homework. When you go look for it, it's right there. So make sure that you're getting it done. It's reading it and adding into your graphic organizer, the one that you've been using throughout these days. Remember that, so I'm talking about this one, this little graphic organizer. You only need 2 quotes. So it's super easy to get, copy and paste them. Right now we have new ones. It's how to pay for college. That's the new ones that you should have. So far you should have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 quotes in total. So it should be pretty full by now, okay? I'm looking at those as well this weekend. And if you've shared yours, you're getting your full points for each individual. You're getting 20 points for each article that you put in a quote and analysis for. So that right now, so far, that's 100 points for articles. So if you haven't done it, that's a lot of points you're gonna be missing out, and grades are gonna start dipping. So make sure you're filling your graphic organizer and make sure I have it so that when I look for it, it's in there. Okay? All right, so that's your homework, and we're gonna discuss these ideas, the FAFSA, the scholarships, and what to do and how to pay for college. We're gonna discuss those on Tuesday. And please remember, common lids are not going away. In fact, next week I'm assigning another one. So that'll be 3 if you haven't done one of these. This one, only half of the class did it. This one, only 5 people did it. I don't know where your minds are at or your heads are at, but you got to get it together and make it happen, okay? Otherwise, your grades are going to go down no matter what. Okay, all right, it is 11:30, so this marks the end of our class. I need Brayden, I need Lily, and I need Miss Sable to stay behind, please, as well as Miss Denny. Everybody else can leave, okay? Have a